Dear students, today I am going to solve a particular question and which is very interesting, important for examination point of view, and this question is related to what? Greatest integer function. And about the greatest integer function, we had discussed earlier in details about its properties, about its continuity in the throughout its domain. So same concept we are going to use here to solve this particular question. Okay. So before going to solve this question, what is your question? Your function is gx is equal to x minus box x. What is box x? Box x is the greatest integer function less than equal than x. You are to show that this function is discontinuous. Discontinuous at all integral points. Discontinuous at all integral points. You are to show that the function is discontinuous at all integral point. Integral point means integers. Okay. Like 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, this type of integers. Okay. And is it discontinuous at all integral points? But in this question it is not tell about the non-integral points. So you have to also discuss about non-integral point, whether what is happening with non-integral point. After finding non-integral point, we will find what? Integral points. Okay. Now here you see a particular concept I have discussed already in the greatest integer function. उसमें आप लोगों को डिस्कस किया था, फिर मैं रिव्यू कर रहा हूँ. इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Here I am taking c is an integer. Okay, c is an integer. Then next integer is c plus 1 and its previous integer is what? C minus 1, because difference between two integer is always 1. And if h is a very small quantity which is positive, then c plus h lying between c and c plus 1, c plus h will be what? Lying between c plus 1 and what? C. And when c plus h lying between two integers, then its greatest integer is equal to box c plus h क्या होगा? Always what? Left one. Okay, it is equal to what? C. कोई भी इंटरवल में अगर सपोज 1 लेस देन x लेस देन इक्वल देन 2 और सपोज इक्वलिटी इज नॉट देयर, देन उसका क्या होगा? बॉक्स क्या होगा? ऑलवेज बॉक्स इज इक्वल व्हाट? लेफ्ट एंड पॉइंट ऑफ द इंटरवल. लेफ्ट एंड पॉइंट ऑफ द इंटरवल. वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस दिस थिंग. Similarly there is a c minus h. क्या होगा? c minus h lying between what? Lying between what? C and c minus 1. c minus 1. And therefore the greatest integer of c minus 1, c minus h क्या होगा? Again what? The left number. Okay, is equal to what? C minus 1. So this is very important concept. Okay. If suppose c plus a, c is an integer, c plus h is not an integer, because उसके साथ एक डेसिमल नंबर ऐड होगा, एक छोटा सा नंबर ऐड होगा, तो c plus h will be a real number which is not non-integer. This non-integer lying between two integer, and therefore that is greatest integer is left of the left end point of the interval. Similarly c minus h lying between c minus 1 and c, then its box will be what? Left end point of the particular interval. Okay, so this is the idea and concept regarding this, where we are going to use it. So you can note down it kindly. Now we are going to solve the question. Gx is equal to x minus box x. You see, whenever you give an input, so your function is what? Gx equal to x minus box x. Okay, if you take x is any real number, gx is defined for suppose 1 or 2 or 3, 0, half, whatever be the real number you are putting. For any real number, what happen? Gx is a real number. So the domain of gx is what? Domain of gx is what? There is set of real number, or in other words you can say x is an identity function, and domain of identity function, highest domain is set of real number, and greatest integer function whose domain is also a set of real number. Okay, and if there is a difference, this is a function and this is another function, and suppose this is suppose a f and this is suppose h. Now function is f minus h. तो जब दो फंक्शन का डिफरेंस होगा या एडिशन होगा या मल्टीप्लिकेशन होगा, तो उसका क्या होगा? डोमेन क्या होता है? दिस g इज़ द डिफरेंस ऑफ टू फंक्शन. उसका डोमेन क्या होता है? दोनों का इंटरसेक्शन, डोमेन का इंटरसेक्शन होता है, एंड विच इज इक्वल टू सेट ऑफ रियल नंबर. सिंस डोमेन ऑफ x इज रियल नंबर एंड डोमेन ऑफ greatest integer function is also set of real number. It is an identity function, it is an greatest integer function. दोनों का डोमेन क्या है? R है. तो फाइनली G का डोमेन क्या होगा? Intersection of these two. Very important concept. Okay. So finally what we get? Our domain is the set of real number. Okay. So clearly domain of F is the set of real number. Clearly domain of the set, the domain of G, yes, not F. Domain of G is the set of real number. So real number contains, we know that real number contains what? Two type of numbers. This is integer and this is not integer, means complement. Okay, these are non-integer, this is integer. Let us first check in the non-integer what is happening. Okay, so let C belongs to R, be an arbitrary. Arbitrary means any arbitrary, be an arbitrary element. We take that C belongs to R, be an arbitrary element. Then there are case 2. There are two cases. One case is what? If when C does not belongs to Z, means non-integer. Okay. Then what happen? If C does not belong to Z, like C equal to half root 3, तो आप अगर ये इसमें हाफ पुट करेंगे, G हाफ इक्वल टू हाफ माइनस बॉक्स हाफ होगा कि नहीं? ऐसा कुछ नंबर होगा. Suppose you put x equal to 3 here, root 3 here, G root 3 equal to root 3 minus box root 3. So ऐसा मिलेगा हमें. तो C will does not belong to that, then what will be GC? GC equal to what? According to this, GC equal to what? C minus box C. So we do not know what is C. For different type of C, we will get different. Suppose you take C equal to half, then for this half you will get a greatest integer value, and after subtracting you will get final value. So from this result we will get all the values of GC. For every C does not belong to Z, we will get some value. Also limiting value of, also limit x tends to C. G, it is x tends to C from left or right, so x साथ में कर रहा हूँ, because we are going to check the continuity of the function at an arbitrary point. Arbitrary point के लिए हमारा definition जो है वो use कर रहा हूँ. Gx is equal to what? Limit x tends to C. Gx is equal to what? X minus box x. Okay, and if you put the limit here, you will get C minus box C. And C minus box C already we get, it is equal to what? GC. It is already what? GC. Understood? So I am interested to this particular definition. Limit x tends to a, fx equal to what? Fa. You know that a function f is continuous at a point if limit x tends to fx is equal to what? Fa. Okay, and here a is an arbitrary. A is an what? Arbitrary. A is an arbitrary point in the domain. कोई भी एक point होगा. Similarly, if you see C R is divided into two parts. C is a non-integer. Non-integer means there are infinite number of non-integers are there. So C is an arbitrary. So we are using limit x tends to C. Gx equal to what? GC. That formula I am interested. I have shown that yes, limit x tends to Gx is equal to what? GC, and therefore we can say that G is continuous at C. We can say that G is continuous at what? C. Therefore, you can say that Gx is continuous at x equal to C, that is at all non-integral points. तो हमें पता चल गया क्या है कि ये जो फंक्शन है नॉन इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में क्या है? कंटिन्यूअस है. अभी इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में क्या है? एक इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में क्वेश्चन का नीड है कि यू आर टू शो दैट इट इज डिसकंटिन्यूअस. ओके, सो फॉर दिस अदर पार्ट शुड बी ऑल्सो शो. आप लोगों को ऐसा होगा कि सर सिर्फ कहा है नॉन इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में आपको दिखाना है, लेकिन इस क्वेश्चन का थोड़ा सा अपोजिट साइड क्या है, अदर साइड में क्या हो रहा है, अदर पार्ट में क्या हो रहा है, नॉन इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में क्या हो रहा है, वो भी चेक करना पड़ता है. तो चेक करने के बाद आपको मिल गया ये कंटिन्यूअस है, तो हमें इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में चेक करें और फाइनली वी कैन कंक्लूड दैट यस इंटीग्रल पॉइंट में अगर डिसकंटिन्यूअस है तो this function is discontinuous at all integral points. Now, our job is to find that function is discontinuous at all integral points. Let us take a particular integral number. Let C belongs to what? Z be an integral point. Be an integral point. Okay. So C can be 0, 1, 2, anything. Okay. So one by one check करना काफ़ी क्या होगा, lengthy process हो जाएगी. So we will find for C and replacing C for 0, 1, 2 we can conclude our result. Okay. हम result को conclude कर सकते हैं. So take left hand limit. Limit x tends to what? C minus gx. Gx is what? X minus box x. Okay. Gx is equal to what? X minus box x. Now, here we know that x tends to C minus. X tends to C minus means we can write x is less than C. X tends to C minus means x is less than C. And when x less than C, it can be written as x tends to x is equal to C minus h, where h is a small number which is positive. X is approaches to C from left. X जब approximate value C होगा, then if you put x equal to C here, cancelling it will be h approximate value is equal to what? 0. This part is required for you. You have to write here. उसमें तो प्रॉब्लम की साइड में लिख के रखो, ठीक है. तो if you put the values x tends to C means h tends to what? 0. So limit change करो, limit h tends to 0. Now x is replaced by C minus h, and this x is also replaced by C minus h. Give a bracket here. Okay. Now see, we already show you box C minus h क्या होगा? It is C minus 1. आप लोगों को मैंने प्रॉब्लम की शुरुआत में दिखाया था. लिमिट h टेंस टू 0, C माइनस h माइनस C माइनस 1, इसमें माइनस है तो C प्लस 1 होगा. ओके. Then this C and this C cancel. Finally, putting h is equal to 0 here, you are getting what? 1. So finally, what we get at the point C, which is an integer, at the point C, which is an integer, and left hand limit is equal to what? 1. That means left hand limit is finite and fixed, and therefore it is exist. Let us find right hand limit. Okay. Let us find right hand limit. Now, right hand limit is equal to limit x tends to C plus gx. Okay. Gx is equal to what? Limit x tends to C plus gx is equal to x minus box x. Okay. Now x tends to C plus. X tends to C plus means x is greater than C. X is greater than C means what? X equal to C plus h. Okay. You have to add something with what? C, then you can get x. What is h? H is greater than 0. So x is approximately equal to C. Limiting value is of x is C. Then what is the limiting value of h? Limit is what? X tends to what? C. X is approaches to C means x approximate value of x equal to C implies approximate value of h is equal to what? 0. If you replace here x is equal to what? C, you are getting h is equal to what? 0. Okay. Now this is important. You have to write right of the problem. Okay. So here limit x tends to C plus. C plus is not a number, it is C. Okay. X tends to C means h tends to 0. So limit को change करो. Limit h tends to 0, and this can be written as x can be written as C plus h, and box x can be written as again C plus h box. Okay, give a third bracket here. Okay, now limit h tends to 0, you got C plus h. C plus h lying between what? C and C plus 1. This is C plus h. So इसका box क्या होगा? C होगा. So you can write C plus h minus C, and finally you put C cancel, h is equal to 0. Your answer is what? 0. So we are getting that right hand limit is equal to what? 0, and 0 is a fixed and finite number, and therefore right hand limit is also exist. We already show that left hand limit is exist, right hand limit also exist, and but you observe that the value of left hand limit was 1 and right hand limit is 0, and therefore left hand limit is not equal to what? Right hand limit. And since left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, then we can conclude that your function is discontinuous at x equal to c. So you can write that since left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, therefore gx is discontinuous at x equal to c. But but c is what? C is any integer, okay? It can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be -1. c का वैल्यू आप रिप्लेस करके जाओ, अगर c का वैल्यू 0 ले लो तो आपका एक लिमिटिंग वैल्यू क्या होगा? लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट नॉट इक्वल टू राइट हैंड लिमिट. For x is equal to 1, left hand limit not equal to right hand limit. For x is equal to 2. In this way, replace c, then you will find that all the points where all the integral point, the function is discontinuous. Therefore, gx is discontinuous at all integral points. Dear students, this is the second question of today's class. So in this question you see for what value of lambda, the function is defined as fx is equal to what? Lambda into x square minus 2x when x less than equal than 0, and fx equal to 4x plus 1 if x greater than 0. Continuous at x equal to what? 0. That means if the function is continuous at x equal to 0, what is the value of lambda you are going to find? And if it is continuous at x equal to 1, then what should be the value of lambda you are going to find? That is the requirement of the particular question. Okay, and, you observe that this is your domain. Okay, this is your domain. Domain can be, this is your x0, this is x greater than 0, and this is x less than 0. So negative infinity to what? Positive infinity. So your domain is the set of real number. Domain is the what? Set of real number. Our job is to check the continuity. Given suppose the function is continuous at x equal to 0, then what should be the value of lambda? And also if the function is continuous at x equal to 1, what is the value of lambda? Very interesting question. Okay, let us start. First we check the continuity at x is equal to what? 0. Since the function is continuous, f is continuous at x equal to 0. So according to our definition, left hand limit x tends to 0 minus fx equal to limit x tends to 0 plus fx is equal to what? F of 0. Okay, functional value as per the definition of continuity of the function at a particular point. Okay, now when x tends to 0 minus means x is less than 0, and for x less than 0 you see fx equal to lambda into x square minus 2x. So here you can write limit x tends to 0 lambda into x square minus 2x. Okay, and similarly here x tends to 0 plus means x is greater than 0, and for x greater than 0 function is 4x plus 1. So you replace x tends to 0 plus this fx is replaced by 4x plus 1, and what is f0? Very interesting. when x equal to 0, x is equal to 0, फंक्शन इज लैम्डा इंटू एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस 2x, तो आप x इक्वल टू 0 इधर पुट करेंगे, अब 0 इक्वल टू लैम्डा इंटू 0 माइनस 0 मीन्स 0 हो जाएगा, दिस इज इक्वल टू 0. ओके, नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू change it in terms of h, it is 0 minus. Okay, x tends to 0 minus, I already told you, if something suppose x less than 1, then we can write x is equal to 1 minus h, where h is positive. The same thing we are going to repeat here. So x tends to 0 minus means x equal to 0 minus h, और x tends to जब 0 हो जाएगा तो h भी इधर 0 पुट करेंगे तो h टेंस टू भी 0 हो जाएगा, तो x कैन बी रिप्लेस बाय माइनस h. सो हम इधर क्या करेंगे, लिमिट x टेंस टू 0 मीन्स h टेंस टू 0, लैम्डा इज देयर एंड x कैन बी रिप्लेस बाय माइनस h होल स्क्वायर प्लस 2h. ओके, and here also x tends to 0 plus means we can write x greater than 0 and means x equal to 0 plus h. x tends to 0 implies h tends to 0 होगा. Then finally limit of x tends to 0 implies limit of h tends to 0. लिमिट में कन्वर्ट, लिमिट चेंज करो, h tends to 0 and here x is replaced by what, gh, so 4h plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so finally this is we are getting these things you can mention here in separate manner. आप अगर इधर ऐसा कर सकते हो, इसमें कर सकते हो x tends to 0 minus implies x less than 0, and then you can write all this thing here, you can write all this thing for your understanding, you can write it. Now putting the value of limit here, if you put h equal to 0 here, h equal to 0, lambda into 0 equal to क्या होगा, it becomes what, it will be, this is equal to what, this side is what, this part is 0 and this is if you put h equal to 0 here, you are getting 1, and which equal to 0 means 0 equal to 1. Okay, 0 into 0 equal to 1 equal to 0 means you can write 0 equal to 1. So this is a very interesting result come after supposing that the function is continuous at x equal to 0, we are getting 0 equal to 1, and which is impossible, ये तो नहीं हो सकता. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, इसका मतलब हो गया कि आप लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट इज इक्वल टू राइट हैंड लिमिट इज फंक्शन वैल्यू लेने के बाद फंक्शन कंटिन्यूस एट एक्स इक्वल टू 0 होने के बाद एक इम्पॉसिबल टास्क में आ गया, हम लोग पहुँच गए. दिस पर्टिकुलर एक्सप्रेशन इज इम्पॉसिबल विच इज़ एन एब्सर्ड. And so we conclude that there is no such value of lambda, for which the function is continuous. ऐसा कोई lambda का वैल्यू नहीं है जिसके लिए फंक्शन कंटिन्यूस है, क्योंकि 0 में कंटिन्यूस सपोज करने के बाद क्या हो रहा है, एब्सर्ड आ रहा है, तो lambda का कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. तो हम कंक्लूशन करेंगे, व्हाट इज आवर कंक्लूजन, देयरफॉर देयर इज नो वैल्यू ऑफ lambda for which f is continuous at x equal to 0. Okay, that is the particular things. lambda का ऐसा कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, रियल और कॉम्प्लेक्स वॉटेवर भी ऐसा कोई नहीं है जिसके लिए फंक्शन 0 में कंटिन्यूस हो सकता है. अगर कंटिन्यूस हो रहा है तो एब्सर्ड रिजल्ट आ रहा है, दैट मीन्स लैम्डा का कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. दैट इज द फाइनल आंसर ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर फर्स्ट पार्ट. नाउ कम्स टू द सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. सेकेंड पार्ट में हम क्या करें, एट एक्स इक्वल टू 1, एट एक्स इज इक्वल टू 1, एक्स कहाँ मिलेगी, योर नंबर लाइन, यू सी दिस इज योर नंबर लाइन, दिस इज 0, दिस इज पॉजिटिव infinity, दिस इज negative infinity, so 1 will be lies here somewhere right of 0. Now let us see for x greater than 0 what is happening. For x greater than 0, fx equal to 4x plus 1, which is a what, polynomial function and hence continuous. मीन्स इसका मतलब है 0 से इन्फिनिटी तक जितना नंबर है सब नंबर में ये फंक्शन क्या हो रहा है, कंटिन्यूस हो रहा है. फंक्शन क्या हो रहा है, कंटिन्यूस हो रहा है. तो उसको हम चेक करना काफ़ी आसान है। इसमें डायरेक्टली x इक्वल टू 0 दिया गया तो लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट राइट हैंड लिमिट यूज़ किया, इसमें नहीं दिया गया तो हम उस हिसाब से कर सकते हैं। सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, when x greater than 0 fx is equal to 4x plus 1 is a polynomial function and hence it is continuous for x greater than 0। मीन्स x से बड़ा जितना 0 से बड़ा जितना नंबर है सब नंबर में ये फंक्शन f क्या है, कंटिन्यूस है। तो हम कह सकते हैं fx इज कंटिन्यूस at x equal to 1। very interesting, the fx is continuous at x is equal to 1 for what value of lambda। you see we have not used at all this part। इस x इक्वल टू 1 के लिए हम इस पार्ट को यूज़ नहीं किया। मीन्स क्या है, लैम्डा का वैल्यू अगर 1 हो, 2 हो, 3 हो, हाफ हो, कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर और रियल नंबर कोई भी दिया जाए, इसमें लैम्डा का वैल्यू कोई भी हो, तो हमें x इक्वल टू 1 में कंटिन्यूटी चेक करने के लिए लैम्डा के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं करना पड़ रहा है। और दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ लैम्डा। ओके, इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ लैम्डा से इंडिपेंडेंट है, तो हमारा फंक्शन x इक्वल 1 में कंटिन्यूस है विदाउट डिपेंडिंग ऑन लैम्डा। ओके, तो हम कह सकते हैं fx इज कंटिन्यूस एट x इक्वल 1 फॉर एनी वैल्यू ऑफ लैम्डा। वी कैन कंक्लूड दैट द फंक्शन इज कंटिन्यूस एट x इक्वल टू 1 फॉर एनी वैल्यू ऑफ लैम्डा। एनी वैल्यू मीन्स इट मे बी कॉम्प्लेक्स, मे बी रियल, आप कुछ भी दे सकते हो, देने से कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा है कंटिन्यूटी एट x इक्वल टू 1 में। इसीलिए लैम्डा का वैल्यू कुछ भी हो सकता है। दैट इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। ओके, सो दिस इज द particular question which is related twisting. Understanding of the question is important and you can solve this equation very easily. Thank you very much.